"I'm not drinking that. Get lost." Dustin's words were short and sweet, but he brought a deathly hush over the hall. All eyes were on Dylan the moment he entered. There were numerous people present who would do anything to gain his favor, so when they witnessed Dylan offering Dustin a drink, the onlookers, including Zoe, Gordon, and Zeke, were astonished. Jealous, even. It was definitely something worth bragging about to have someone like Dylan offer you a drink. However, they had never expected Dustin to actually turn him down and even arrogantly dismiss him. What was the meaning of that? Was Dustin really so full of himself? "What did you just say?" Not only were the onlookers surprised, but even Dylan couldn't believe his ears. He was a Harmon, a high-ranking commander in the Dark Panther Cavalry, and a future general. No matter where he went, people would fawn over him and go out of their way to please him. Just a smile from him could make someone's day, so shouldn't regular people feel honored that he'd offer them a drink? How dare this rascal turn down the wine he had offered? "Didn't you hear me? I said, get lost." Dustin repeated himself in the same cold manner. "How dare you? You insolent bastard. You've crossed the line." The crowd was in an uproar. All those who were trying to get into Dylan's good books stood up for him, hurling profanities at Dustin. People who weren't in the know might have thought they held some deep-seated grudge against Dustin. Is that scoundrel out of his damn mind? How dare he speak so rudely to a commander? Zoe was bewildered. She had never imagined that Dustin would be so daring as to behave with such insolence toward Dylan. He obviously held no regard for Dylan's status and position. He's going to get what he deserves for being so arrogant. I'd like to see how Dylan is going to deal with him. Zeke gloated gleefully at Dustin's impending misfortune. What an idiot. Gordon shook his head with a smile on his face. Adriana remained quiet, worry creeping into her eyes. Dustin had left quite a good impression on her, and she could tell he was a responsible and courageous man. However, she had to admit that he had acted too rashly. "You bastard. How dare you disrespect my superior? I'll shoot you in the head." An adjutant roared furiously. It had taken him a brief moment to react. "I don't believe you will," Dustin calmly replied. "You." The adjutant choked on his words. Had they been at the borders, he'd already have shot Dustin many times over, but with so many civilian onlookers, he dared not act impulsively. "Do you know who I am, punk? How dare you speak to me like that?" Dylan asked icily, a menacing glint in his eyes. He was not going to let this scoundrel, who had just humiliated him in public, off so easily. "So what if I do?" "My answer remains the same. I'm not drinking that, so buzz off." Dustin wasn't intimidated by him. Dylan was so infuriated that he burst out laughing. "I see you want to do this the hard way, you bastard. There has never been anyone who's disgraced me in such a manner before. Let me make it clear, if you don't finish this glass of wine, there's no way you're walking out that door." Dylan's words were clearly a threat. "Hey, it's an honor to have Mr. Harmon offer you a drink. If you know what's good for you, just take it, man." "That's right. Drink up, or you'll be sorry." Many of the onlookers chimed in, taking Dylan's side. "Dustin, my cousin has quite a nasty temper. You better drink up, or he'll be sure to kick up a fuss." Kate egged him on with a mocking expression. She was dying for things to get out of hand so that Natasha and Dylan would be at opposite ends, and she'd be able to reap the greatest benefit out of the fiasco, which was having Dylan on her side. "Whoever wants the drink can have it, but it's not going to be me." Dustin remained unfazed by the comments and derogatory remarks hurled his way. "Well, that's not up to you." Dylan's expression turned cold. "Boys, make him drink it." "Yes, sir." The two adjutants immediately went up to Dustin, ready to force the drink down his throat. "Buzz off." With two backhanded slaps, Dustin sent the two adjutants sprawling on the ground, blood streaming from their noses and their teeth broken. They scrambled to get back up but failed miserably. Holy shit. The guy's getting violent. The onlookers were startled and enraged by what they saw. Assaulting military personnel was a major offense, and when the situation called for it, they were authorized to use their guns. "You've got a death wish, you bastard." Dylan finally had it when he saw the two adjutants being slapped. He swiftly threw a punch at Dustin's face. As a high-ranking commander of the Dark Panther Cavalry, it went without saying that he was skilled in martial arts. Currently, he was an entry-level divine martial artist, considered one of the best among his peers. Dustin did not duck or sidestep Dylan's punch. Instead, he grabbed Dylan's incoming fist with his bare hand. A dull thud resonated as Dylan's fist made contact with Dustin's palm. Dylan was utterly shocked, struggling to comprehend how Dustin could achieve such a feat. Though he had yet to exert his full force, he was a divine-level martial artist. Just a light punch from him was enough to send a regular person flying. He was certain that Dustin was also a skilled martial artist. "I see you're well versed in martial arts too. No wonder you're so arrogant. I suppose have to show you what I'm capable of today," Dylan declared, removing his coat. He was ready to go all out. Though Dustin had managed to catch his punch, Dylan still had the confidence that he'd be able to pulverize him. "I've been putting up with you for Natasha's sake. I do not wish to hurt you, but if you insist on taking advantage of my kindness, I'm afraid I'll not be so polite anymore," Dustin said coldly. "Hurt me? Ha ha ha. What a joke." Dylan looked at Dustin contemptuously. "Do you think that you can act so arrogantly just because you think you know some martial arts? Just so you know, I could easily kill you with just a flick of my finger. Is that so?" "By all means, go ahead." Dustin remained unfazed. "Very well, I'll teach you a lesson today that there are always people out there who are better than you." Just as Dylan channeled his true energy and was about to attack, a loud voice boomed throughout the hall. "Hold it right there." Hector marched in with several others behind him. "What's going on here? It's my birthday celebration today, and you're at each other's throats?" Hector's burning gaze swept across the hall. Anyone who met his eyes immediately lowered their heads, paying respect to the leader of the Harmon family. "Uncle Hector, this guy started it." Dylan pointed an accusing finger at Dustin. "I offered him a drink as a gesture of appreciation, but not only did he refuse it, he even went so far as to insult me. I couldn't stand it, so I thought I'd teach him a lesson." "Is that true?" Hector's eyes narrowed. "I can vouch for Dylan, Uncle Hector." Dustin was so proud and rude, and he had completely no respect for the Harmon family. Kate piped up. "That's right, we can attest to that too." The rascal had no regard for propriety, and he really crossed the line. The onlookers stood up for Dylan. From what they saw, Dustin was clearly the one who picked the fight. "Hang on, there must be some confusion. I don't believe Dustin would do something like that." Natasha defended Dustin. "Natasha, with so many eyewitnesses here, are you really going to stand up for him?" Kate scoffed. "Do you have anything to say about this, Dustin?" Hector turned his attention to him. "It's true that I refused the drink Dylan offered me." Hector frowned when he heard that. Even Natasha was caught off guard. "See, Uncle Hector, you heard it from him. He admitted it himself." Dylan smirked, shooting Dustin a taunting look. But what Dustin said next left the smirk frozen on his face. "And that's because he spiked the drink."